welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Bit. You made it. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a nice little weekend, whether you were inside or outside. They had some beautiful weather here on the East Coast. Actually, all the weathermen, they were saying, hey, it's going to be rainy on Saturday. False. It was nice. It was great, at least in the great state of New York. But hope everybody had a nice weekend. Hope you enjoyed the basketball. It was kind of nice, I'm not going to lie, to not have games during the day, like could experience the day a little bit, and then wind down with some hoops. But we had some fun basketball hoops. We'll talk about Saturday night's games. We'll talk about last night's games. We'll get us ready for this week. Just a couple programming notes. If you missed it over the weekend, I was honored and lucky enough to join the Athletic NBA show, the Slam and Jam. We had a lot of fun. Recorded it Thursday night after the games, which means it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I sounded beautiful, and I embarrassed myself in trivia. So hope you guys tuned into that. If you haven't yet, go check that out on that feed. That was cool. I listen to that show all the time, so it was cool to be asked to do it. So thanks to those guys. So go check that out. We have the NBA Bit this week, just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No show on Friday because we'll be traveling. We will have a show on Monday. I think it just might be at a different time. But we have a lot of fun stuff going on this week. So make sure you're locked in. We'll have some 89 Cavs at some point. We'll have some hoop sense. We're doing it all. We're doing it all today. Let's see, who do we have in the chat? Whether you're on x.com or over here on the YouTubes, just come hang out. We got DJP. Yes, happy Cinco de Mayo. That's good. For more un poco. Happy Dutch Liberation Day. We're having a lot of fun in the chat. Good morning to Stubbs. Also, happy birthday to my dad. It's my dad's birthday today. Boston based, we move on. There you go. Happy National Silence the Shame Day. Wow, what's going on here? What's going on? Yeah, dude, listen, Matty Harrison, it was 2:30 in the morning, and I was so blown away that James Harden was not listed in any of those. Like, I really did that. I thought I had a solid approach early on, and then I fell apart. There we go. Coach Starkholm's already trying to make some moves. We got Jimmy Peacock here. Let's go. Let's dive in. Last night was fun, man. Last night was a fun, gross game for those who stayed up, and shouts to those who came over on playback. But a little Sunday night game 7 throwdown between the Warriors and the Rockets, and let's just start with Buddy Hield, man. Buddy Hield had 22 points in the first half. Buddy Hield had 22 points in the first half. And the rest of the Warriors had 29. Buddy Hield almost outscored his entire team. Just insane stuff from Buddy. You never know when you're going to get the Buddy Hield game, man. You might get 20 minutes of zeros across the board, a little Tony Snell action, and then all of a sudden, single-handedly propels the Warriors to a W, to round 2, and they needed it bad, right? They got word right before the game earlier in the day that Gary Payton woke up not feeling good with a little tummy ache. He wasn't able to play, and it was like, dude, let's look at some of these minutes in the first quarter, man. Not only did we see Jonathan Kuminga play 7 minutes, we also saw Kevon Looney, both of them in the first quarter. Steve Kerr, we are now, 89, 90 games into the regular season? Into the season, and the Warriors are still trying to figure out who the hell do we play, which is, I don't know how that bodes. I don't know how that looks heading into round 2. Probably not great. We had a Draymond Green punch a Fred VanVleet thing. That was kind of fun. I will say, Draymond last night, before we talk more about Buddy and all that stuff, Draymond defensively was incredible last night. There was like 4 or 5 times where he just stood dudes up in the paint. He was great. He also knocked down, I think he had 10 points in the first half. I think the entire team outside of Pajemski might have outscored Steph Curry in the first half. Steph could not get anything going. And I want to, Rockets, man, let's talk about Houston here for a second, because God, to both have Amen Thompson do what he was doing last night and then nobody else be able to do anything else, it was just kind of wild. It seemed like everybody else was moving in slow motion, and then Amen Thompson was like, can you just give me the ball for a second? And then would just take off courts. He had a couple of moves, right, where he wildly throws the ball behind his back for a dribble. It seems like it covered a square mile, the way that kind of went around the world, and then finishes around the rim in a crazy way. Amen Thompson was just awesome, man, on both ends. As I mentioned, Steph Curry, I think, only had 3 points at halftime, And that was like a deep three with, I believe, a minute left in the first half. And a lot of that had to do with Amon Thompson just kind of swarming him. Houston also did a good job of throwing some doubles at him. But look at Amon Thompson's line here. 9 for 16 from the field. He only took 1 3, 6 for 6 from the line, 24 points, 9 boards, 3 dimes, a steal, and a block. He was by far Houston's best player on both ends of the court. Now, Sengun, like, he had 21, 14, and 5. And if you look at that, you're like, hey, that's not bad. He also was like Kobe in game 7 there for a little bit, 9 for 23. And I like just, dude, there were times where he had like Pajemski on him. And I'm like, come on. Like, just you can do it, put your back and do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just put some oomph on it. Pajemski can't be standing you up, Goon. And then even on Draymond, too, like, there was just times it felt like every offensive possession, Houston was overthinking things. And again, credit to Golden State's defense, which also I just want to say, man, I don't know what it is about the NBA. Maybe it's because it like they just play man-to-man 98% of the season. Anytime anybody throws a zone out there, the opposing coach has to call timeout. It's incredible. They're like, 2-3, timeout. We got to talk this over. I don't know what to do. 2-3, what are we going to do? Timeout. Every single time. Houston did it last night. I think Golden State did it last night. I remember when it was just Miami that would run a zone, and they would do it once a year. And the commentary around it would be like, yeah, because they can't actually defend, so they have to play zone. And now it seems to be this weapon that nobody can figure out. But credit Golden State, too, for making the adjustments, because it really did seem like they go up 3-1 and, like, throw away game 5, right? Throw game 5. They showed up to Houston, and they had, like, the James Harden experience. We're like, let's go out. Let's have some food. Let's see the nightlife. Let's see the booty, you know? And then they just got smoked. And then we come back for game 6, and now game 6 feels a little different because it was like, whoa, did Houston figure something out? Did they big boy them? And then they get to game 7. They make the necessary adjustments. And the biggest thing they did, they were able to pull out Steven Adams a little bit. And then that allowed them to kind of like live to see another day on the rebound, on the boards, right? So if you look here, Golden State finished with how many? 38 boards, only 3 offensive boards, which is crazy. On the Houston side of stuff, 38 boards. So they only No, that's not true. 52 to 38. So they did out rebound them by 14, but it wasn't like the same old, like where they were just getting 55 extra possessions in the game, right? And Regulator, great point. This was the first time Steven Adams was a negative. And I mean, you could see they went away from it. I think, well, how many, like Adams played a lot of minutes early on and then ended up he did get to 26, but just not nearly as effective as before. Regulator was asking, Amon is the only untouchable Rockets for the summer. Yeah, let's talk about that in a second. But one of the frustrating things that I was finding as I started to talk about before I went on a tangent, it just felt like if they went into their action a little bit sooner, they were finding better looks. Like there were so many times where Goon would get the ball and it seemed like he could put up that little float shot or a little push shot. And instead what he would do is he'd like square up and put the ball on the floor and then like try to take a really difficult shot at the rim with Draymond Green in front of him. And you saw even on the Warrior side of stuff, Pajemski, same thing, like where he kept getting to these spots and then would just pass out of an easy, not easy, but like an easier look there close to the rim. It seemed like both of these teams just were a little gun shy. And I don't know if that's from a full series of just beating the hell out of each other defensively, but yeah, I don't know. But congrats to the Warriors. Your reward is you get to play the Minnesota Timberwolves here in round 2. And that should be a pretty fun one. We can preview that in a little bit, but let's go back to Houston and what they do. I mean, Jalen Green, they played 7 games, and I think 6 of them he was pretty tough. And I'll give Jalen a little bit of credit because it seems like he's been a little bit more active on the defensive end, and he hasn't been, just like a total zero out there. But offensively, he has been. I mean, 30 minutes, 3 for 8 from the field, 8 and 4. You just kind of forgot he was out there for large stretches of times. And again, like when they got down 10 in the second half, like it was so clear that they just don't have the offensive like the only way they can get back into the game is transition buckets and like this grind of an offense, but they didn't have any quick offense. Like if Fred VanVleet, who again went 3 for 6 from 3 and still had 17 and 7, like was pretty efficient, but the defense of Golden State was a little bit more aggressive on Fred, not allowing him to kind of just run by everybody like he was doing in games 5 and 6. And because of that, like if he's not going to knock down shots, they don't have anybody else if Jalen Green's not going to do it. Amon Thompson, great transition offensive player, very active, does a great job slashing and cutting, but he's not going to, step outside and drop threes. Dylan Brooks 0 for 3 from 3, and they finished the game, right, with 6 threes. 3 of those came in garbage time. So only 3 of those threes were like during competitive basketball. There was one, Fred VanVleet with like 30 seconds left just chucked up a rainmaker. Sengun hit one as well. But again, if you're going to hit 3 threes in a playoff game in the year 2025, like 3 threes isn't enough in like 1996, like let alone 2025. So they have to figure out what they're going to do offensively, I think, moving forward. I don't think they have to like rip the Band-Aid off now and freak out. Like they have time to make a move. Like I wouldn't even be surprised because I know everybody was tweeting after the game like this was Jalen Green's last game in Houston, right? I don't think they need to freak out and do that right now. Like I don't think you have to trade Jalen Green this offseason. I think you can kind of take a look at it, see how the rest of the league reacts, see what's out there. Like I don't think you have to force it. Fred VanVleet has a player option, and the wording around the post-game press conferences, which I mean, take all those with a grain of salt. Sounds like Houston's interested in bringing Fred back, which kind of makes sense. I mean, he was their steady hand offensively. But Dylan Brooks, what does he look like next year? They just extended Goon and Green, Jabari Smith. My guess, if they were to make some moves, is guys like Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and Sengun are probably the 3 guys that you could move off of. Regular said who would want Green. Rockets could get a top 4 pick in the draft too. Yeah, maybe they wait and see what the draft looks like. I think Jalen Green is still pretty good, though. I mean, I know he got exposed quite a bit, but I also don't think this is the right offense for him. And I think one of like the real issues here for this team moving forward is just like if you keep Jalen Green, it means you're not playing Amen Thompson enough, And I know Amen's moved into the starting lineup, but like Tyree Eason should be playing more than 16 minutes, and you don't need Tyree Eason and Jabari Smith Jr. And I think Jabari Smith Jr. is good. Like I'm a Jabari Smith Jr. fan. They've got a lot of extras, right? And then there's still like Cam Whitmore, who I know seems to be hated within the organization. Reed Shepherd, who Houston officials keep saying how high they are on him. What was that? The number 2, number 3 pick last draft, and he like didn't see the floor at all. So they can still Reed Shepherd still got some value. Their first round pick has some value. And I mean, then you have to deal with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you try to think of like landing spots for him next season. And Milwaukee, they don't have their picks, right? Like Houston, I believe, has Phoenix's assets, right? They have Phoenix's picks moving forward. They have some young talent. And Milwaukee has no picks going forward. They have no talent. And so like as you look at the greater NBA landscape, I don't think there are a lot of fits that make sense for Giannis. And I don't think Houston needs to rush it. I think they have the leverage, I think, on Milwaukee, who are looking for just the best possible packages to get back for somebody like Giannis if he goes. But Giannis, I don't know if you guys saw this. He tweeted out the Bucks Twitter account actually did it. Let me see if I can pull this up. So I was surprised the Bucks Twitter account shared this because this felt more doom and gloom than positivity in my opinion. But the Bucks tweeted this out here. And it's just, they took a screen grab of Giannis's Instagram, who he posted win for Cream City, which again, I get it, but like Cream City, we can do better, Milwaukee. But Giannis posted this on Instagram. He's got his head down. He put prayer hands and salute. And I don't know, the salute seems like job well done. See you later. That's kind of what it feels like to me anyways. But I don't know. That to me, I was surprised they shared this because this seems like they were like, I will remember you. That's what it felt like to me. So again, I think Houston would be in the driver's seat there because Giannis has made it clear he doesn't want it. He's not going to a rebuild situation, right? I don't think he's going to force his way out of Milwaukee to go play in Brooklyn with freaking the Cam crew. But, a team like Houston, who is still on the precipice of greatness, you could see him going somewhere like there with a team that has that assets. Coach Stark Holmes says they have all the Suns picks we have up for KD. Yeah, you're trying to get your Kevin Durant back. I don't know if that's happening. I think we'll have to wait and see. JJL says Dame will never play another NBA game. I don't know. If he wants to, I think he comes back. I don't think we see him at the same height. Also, JJL, did you get married yet? I forget. Is that in June? Are we approaching marriage day, JJL? And then stop ruining my day. I know. I'm sorry, Bucks fans. But it does seem I was surprised the Milwaukee Bucks Twitter account shared that. But I think Houston should just kind of chill. Like see how the draft plays out, see how Memphis overreacts to this offseason, see what the Bucks put out there, see if Nico Harrison just wants to do something dumb again this offseason. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? But I think Houston should feel good, man. I know they were the 2 seed, but the difference between the 2 seed and like the 10 seed were a handful of games. So I don't think it was that crazy. And they went down 3-1. They battled all the way back. They forced a game 7. And sure, they didn't get it done at home. But I think you lost a game 7 to freaking Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr. And don't worry, I'll say Jimmy Butler too, so you guys don't have a freak out. But yeah, that's just that's good. That's good stuff for Houston. I know they're probably disappointed, but I don't think they should be. And I think they got a great future ahead of them, whether they make a big move, a big splash, or whether they just find some more offense, some more shooting. I mean, that's really the biggest thing. They just need some more 3-point shooting. They need some 3-point shooting. And listen, Amen Thompson unleashed, baby. He is awesome. He is freaking awesome. And if he's able to grow offensively a little bit, I don't even think he needs to figure out a 3-point shot. If he's going to be doing that shit, man, and he's going to all of a sudden be like their secondary ball handler, like watch out. I'm buying the Amen Thompson stock. Golden State, Minnesota will cover in a little bit. Let's go look at the other game last night because that was fun. And I'm not trying to victory lap here because it's a long series. I think we got a long way to go. But the Pacers are a real basketball team. Pacers are a real basketball team, okay? They are not fake. Rick Carlisle, played by Jim Carrey, just out there playing all 55 guys that have ever played for the Indiana Pacers in the last couple of years. We saw Thomas Bryant get out there. Look at this. Benedict Mathurin, he played a bunch of minutes. Ben Shepherd got out there. Thomas Bryant got out there. Jarris Walker got out there. And then, of course, Obi, TJ, and Benny. I don't think they should be playing Thomas Bryant, but okay. Also, I don't think we see Ben Shepherd again. Ben Shepherd just looked tiny. He looked like me out there. He looked tiny. Tiny. I don't think you want Ben Shepherd out there for these minutes. I do think one of the advantages the Pacers are going to have is Benedict Mathurin. We saw, he only had 11 points and 5 rebounds. It feels like he's going to be able to do whatever he wants in this series. Not whatever he wants, but he seems to be like he's an advantage there. The biggest question mark moving forward here is Darius Garland's big toe, right? His big toe. So he missed the last couple of games against Miami, and we all kind of just said together, hey, this is because Miami sucks, right? Sorry, Stan. And no, I guess he's actually hurt. They came out yesterday and said that if this was the regular season, he probably would have missed a couple of games. A couple of weeks, excuse me. And he did. And like now they seem a little bit more hopeful that they're going to play in game 2, but I don't know. Tesla said, how did Max Player Mobley do in his self-creation role with Garland out? Tesla, did you watch this one? I actually thought Mobley looked okay in this game. He had 20 points, 10 boards, 2 dimes, and 2 steals, 9 for 13 for the field, 2 for 5 from 3. Yeah, I actually thought he looked okay. Didn't do too much in the fourth quarter. It felt like it was kind of quiet, but honestly, the Cavs didn't do too much in the fourth quarter. And listen, I love Ty Jerome. I think Ty Jerome is fun. Sometimes heat check is a bad check. Sometimes it's not too hot, but like there was he shot themselves out of some rhythm in a little bit. And I want to first give this some love before I'm disrespectful, okay? Donovan Mitchell finishes the game, 33 points, 5 boards, 4 dimes, 13 for 30 from the field, 1 for 11 from 3, got to the line 9 times, knocked down 6 of them. Donovan Mitchell just was straight takeover mode in this game. Was it the third quarter? He just went to the rack over and over, like single-handedly. You could see the Cavs outscored them by 4 in the third quarter there on the box score. Just kept attacking, and like brought them back into the game. But then in the fourth quarter, I think he only had 6 points in the fourth quarter. The 1 for 11 shooting, I don't think that's going to continue. Donovan Mitchell, obviously a very good 3-point shooter, just wasn't falling last night. But I keep coming back to this, and I know everyone's going to hate that I bring this up. But is there anybody in NBA history that has scored 30 points in a playoff game more? I'm sorry. Is there anybody in NBA history that has scored 30 points in a playoff loss than Donovan Mitchell. I just feel like it happens all the time. He did it in the series against Boston last year, cranked a bunch of those out. I always think about those Utah runs where they lost to the Clippers or they lost to the Nuggets. Like I feel like it just happens all the time. And I don't even think that's like a flaw in Donovan Mitchell's game. Like I think the Pacers won this game. I'm not trying to say Donovan shot them out of it. Maybe LeBron, but yeah, LeBron, I feel like you can't even compare that though, because LeBron's played for like 24 years versus Donovan Mitchell. But let's go back to Indiana. What I thought they did really well in this game was just kind of push the pace, no pun intended. They were on makes, on misses, on whatever, just kind of running the ball, just running it up, getting into their offense. I thought Halliburton was awesome. There was a couple of times where he just kept getting Jared Allen on the switch. And Jared Allen is a really good defender. And Hallie was still taking it to him, whether it was step backs, whether it was going by him, whether it was finding the open shooters. Like I thought he was great. I would like if you're Cleveland though, there was a couple of shots where it's just like, are we really doing this right now? Like Andrew Nembhard hit one of those like step back, like on the right angle threes, where it's just like, come on, man. If we're knocking these down, what are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? But let's look at some Pacers stats here because I've just only pointed out the fact that Donovan Mitchell scored 30 points in a loss again. For Indiana, so Hallie, I thought was the best player out there. He had 22 points, 13 dimes, only took 15 shots. He also had 3 blocks. He was out there swatting shit. Hallie was good. Nembhard was not soft, 23 and 6. 5 of 6 from 3. That's insane. Both Spicy P had a really hot first half. I don't love the offense he's been getting though. There was a couple of times where it was like Dean Wade was on him, or who else? There was another couple of possessions where he's just settling for these like step back kind of fadeaway like mid-range shots, and you just kind of want him to go by him. And that's not like, I know Wade's a decent defender, but like, come on. Nesmith had 17. Nesmith had a really important stretch for them as Cleveland started to pull away a little bit. Nesmith goes out there, has like a block, a steal, I think, or maybe it was just that one block, and then knocked down like 2 threes in a row. He knocked down 4, but that was like the biggest disparity or discrepancy in the game, right? Like, so they went 19 for 36. They knocked down 52.8% of their threes. That's a recipe for success. On the other side, 9 for 38 from Cleveland. I don't think that happens again. I don't. They do need Garland back. I think if Garland, before I tweeted this out yesterday, but my prediction for this series was Cavs in 7. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, that's so disrespectful to Cleveland. You don't understand. Milwaukee actually sucks. That's why the Pacers did well." I saw Bill Simmons in his podcast yesterday or last night, whatever. Listen to this before I fell asleep. Said that I think in like their last 50. Cleveland is 35 and 15, and the Pacers are 34 and 16. Like the Pacers are a legit good team that actually play a little bit of defense. It was kind of funny to watch this game and then go right to Houston and Golden State, where like they almost scored more points in the first quarter than Rockets and Warriors scored in the first half. Like just no vibes, no offensive vibes in that second game. But I think the Pacers are going to have a real shot. I expect Cleveland to come out in game 2 with or without Garland to be a little bit more efficient there from three. Like the 3 ball is going to fall. They are a good 3-point shooting team. I know it fell off for a little bit on the second half of the year, but they are a good 3-point shooting team. But the Pacers have like the right defense. I think we need Mobley and Allen to establish themselves a little bit more down low. I feel like they do have an advantage there. I know Miles Turner had 2 blocks. Like, look at all those blocks. Hallie had 3, Turner had 2. And Nesmith 1. So 6 from the starters. Shout out No Dunks. Then you got Nobi Toppin block, a Thomas Bryant block, and a Benny Mathurin block. All damn blocks, baby. But congrats to the Pacers, 1-0. I expect this goes back to Indy 1-1. I expect Carlisle to still play 45 dudes a game. I don't know. Did you guys have anything else from that? I saw regulators said whoever wins the first quarter usually wins the game. Well, it helps if you win the first quarter by 11. That's for sure. That is for sure. Yeah, Tesla, you're having a good Canada run. That's right. And MB Mathurin, we'll talk about Jamal here in a second. Good Canada run. Too bad you can't put it together on the big stage. But I think is game 2 Wednesday. Wednesday what? No, probably not, right? Is it Thursday? They probably have a couple days off in between. Let me actually pull up the schedule here for a second before we get into Saturday. All right, so because Tuesday night we have game 2, Indiana Cleveland. Okay. Wow, only one night off. One night off for them. Okay, that's interesting for the Garland stuff. Again, they made it sound like Garland is not going to miss another game. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous. out of town and didn't watch this game, but did Allen have an impact? I thought he had. I thought he had moments. I thought Allen had moments. I thought he was still solid defensively, even though Hallie cooked him a couple of times. He had 12 points and 5 boards, but it felt like all of those came in the first half. Sorry, we needed some more Java. But yeah, I thought he was fine. The Struce minutes, he had 2 threes. It seemed like he had way more than that. Actually had 7 boards for him. Ty Jerome again, 21 and 8. But I mean, 8 for 20. So they went and combined 21 for 50 from the field between Ty Jerome and Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, I just don't know if that's going to be enough. How did our Garland? I think Garland had that injury. He had it before the Miami series, right? I think that was like towards the end of the regular season because I think he missed like the last 5 games for Cleveland or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, 2 bigs against the Pacers is tough. That's what I mean. Like they have to dominate offensively. They do. They have to dominate. They have to bully them if it's going to work. Otherwise, the Pacers are going to run. Yeah, I know. Raise it. It's true. Like that's why you want Ty Jerome probably like 9 for 14, right? That's the Ty Jerome range. You don't want him 30 minutes too. It's a lot of minutes from Ty Jerome. He took a tough 3 in that game or I think his foot was on the line. It was like in transition and stepped into it, and it was just a bad shot. It was a bad shot. But I don't think it's panic mode. They drop a second game at home, then we can start sounding the alarm. But I think Cleveland bounces back in game 2. I mean, again, they shot as poorly as they could from 3, and Indiana didn't miss. I will say those threes look pretty open, though. I don't have the dork stats in front of me, but it did seem like those were wide open threes for the Pacers outside of the one Nembhard hit. But Nembhard's not going to go freaking 5 for 6 or whatever it was from 3 again. I don't think that's going to happen. But all right, let's go to the game 7 over the weekend because I was excited for this one. All right, we planned our day around this game. We had a my wife had to work, had a softball game earlier in the day, played like shit, tweaked my back again. That was pretty cool. Enjoyed the sunshine of Brooklyn. Stopped on the way home I had a chicken Caesar wrap in a strawberry lemonade. And then I got back here, took the dog out. Then I took an e-bike down to like Lower East Side / Chinatown. Went to the Bowery Beer Garden, and it was just a wonderful sports viewing experience. We had some wonderful food. We watched the Kentucky Derby, and then it was game 7. Made a whole night out of it. And we actually tried harder to watch that game than the Clippers tried to play that game. That was nuts. I mean, the first quarter, so intense, defensive tenacity. Everybody's flying around a little bit. 26-21, Clippers take the lead. And from that moment on, just took a big old dump in a mile-high Denver because they outlook at this 37-21 in the second quarter, 35-19 in the third quarter. Your season on the line, in the balance, and just gave up. Kawhi looks like this is a good game. 22-5, 8 for 9 from the line, basically shot 50% both from the field and from 3. But man, it just seemed like he just was, I don't know, floating through this game a little bit. And it's not even fair to start with Kawhi when then we talk about James Harden, who once again took less than 9 shots in a closeout game. And it's such a weird thing, man, because Harden in an elimination game at home, game 6, went off, had a great game, kept the series alive, and then just kind of no-shows here in Denver. 7 points. He had 13 dimes. I think 10 of them came in the first half, that kind of, smoke and mirrors to be like, if you're just looking at the box score, or if you were playing fantasy or Splash Sports or whatever, and you're like, well, he's having a decent fantasy game because he's dishing and diving. It just was bad. Zubac 10 and 14. But if you went and looked at the box score, right? If you went and looked at the box score, but you only looked at Jokic's numbers, right? Let's just read out Jokic's numbers. This is the only piece of information you could have, right? If you look at this, you're like, okay, Joker played 32 minutes, only took 14 shots, had 16 points, 10 boards, 8 dimes, 5 turnovers, Clippers in 7, right? You look at that stat line, they won despite a mid Jokic performance. Aaron Gordon 22-5. Jamal Murray had 16-5, and that's not an overwhelming stat line. I thought Jamal Murray was awesome in this game. You had 15-6 from Michael Porter Jr., who legit has one arm. Look at one-armed Michael Porter Jr. had more rebounds than Kawhi, Derek Jones Jr., James Harden, Norman Powell, Nicholas Batum, Bogdan Bogdanovic. One arm, bro. if Harden drops 30 and they lose by 18 instead with the Harden, listen, it would Tesla. I think he took 8 shots, man. I think that's the thing. Like, I think if you watched that game and came away being like, I think Harden tried really hard, I just don't know what to tell you. Like, I was not expecting any different. I'm not saying I expected Harden to all of a sudden show up, because he has shown us this time and time again. I mean, the stats back it up. This isn't just like an eyeball test. Like, he's just been bad in these games. It's a weird thing that happens, but it does happen. I don't know what chemical imbalance happens while he's out there in these games like this, but there's something. It is weird. You don't see the aggression. You don't see, like, and he was getting cooked on defense, which I know he's not known for as a defensive player, but he's not a sieve either. And he was bad. And I agree, Regulator. They looked old. They looked slow. And I don't know what it is about Los Angeles teams right now. And maybe this is an East Coast versus a West Coast thing. East Coast, Beast Coast. But both LA teams let go of the rope in fantastic fashion. Just kind of like no sense of urgency, no gang rebounding, nothing. And that's what you have to do in those moments. And I agree with Regulator what you said about Gordon's physicality, man. Like, Kawhi still had a great series, but Gordon really ramped it up. And it just seemed like the championship pedigree of this Denver nucleus is kind of took him over the edge. Like, you think about how they was scrambled in some of those late game modes, like game 4 in the Clippers. Like, that's when the series ended, when the Jokic missed shot, Gordon gets the board. And if you go look at that highlight, you just like watch Harden let Gordon get in front of him and throw it down. And that's, those are the things that are difference makers there. And also Russ, man. Russ with the highlight of the freaking first round. Let me go find. I know everybody's seen this. I know I tweeted it out at some point. Let me go find this right now. This is just this. The Russell Westbrook. I know We the People's not in the chat anymore, but the Russell Westbrook slander did some stuff right over the years. Shout out Russ last night, man. Russ was awesome. I mean, the last 2 nights ago. This whole Denver Russ experience has been fun. And this, to me, is like the best. I don't know how you don't root for this. Ready? Let's watch this together. Let's watch it together.
And Tyronn Lue is now looking to the bench to make some other changes. Westbrook. Another jam. Technical foul on Westbrook for
That's
hanging
so
on
dope,
the rim.
man. I'm like happy for him. I'm just happy for him. I feel emotional watching that. That was such a sick tech. He teed himself up. That was Draymond could learn a little something from that. Draymond, next time you punch someone, instead of being like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? You just tee yourself up. It was rewarding. I loved it. So shout out Russ, man. That was great. He had a great series. I thought his quotes after the game were awesome too. He's like, I'm gonna make some steals. I'm gonna make some turnovers. I'm gonna make some threes. I'm gonna miss some threes. I'm gonna make some twos. I'm gonna get to Russ, the self-aware as it gets, baby. Self-aware as it gets. So Nuggets win this one 120-101, and congrats. Now you get to play a team that's won like 80 games already in the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's game 1 tonight. So we have 2 game 1s. We have Celtics and Knicks, and then we have Thunder and Nuggets. Let's actually look at some of the lines. Oh, well, the Clippers, by the way, like for a little offseason stuff, I actually think they probably run most of this back. I think they have to upgrade their bench a little bit. I can't believe this. I'm stunned to say this. Honestly, shocked and saddened. I can't believe the Ben Simmons thing wasn't more impactful. Let's see how many minutes he played in this game. Let's see how many minutes Ben Simmons played. It was, 0, DNP. Ben Simmons, Patty Mills, and a mere cup of coffee. The Chris Dunn thing was cool, but Chris Dunn might be more of a regular season guy in the sense that they just played 5-on-4. They're like, we won't defend him, and he's going to have to hit 6 threes for this to matter. But Bogdan Bogdanovic, you guys know I'm a Bogey stan, man. Bogey, no thanks. Isn't Harden, doesn't he have a player option, or is he unrestricted? I thought he could just like come back. But yeah, we'll see what Harden does. I mean, listen, Harden probably going to make an all-NBA team, so it's not like he was bad this year. He kind of buoyed this Clippers team all season long with Kawhi playing like every third game early on. Batum has been on retirement watch for the last 10 years. So does Batum come back? Drew Eubanks got 7 minutes. They also called him, that was the Ringer NBA show, called him Devin Eubanks, which made me laugh. But yeah, so we'll have to see what they do in the offseason. I imagine they kind of run it back, maybe upgrade the bench. But let's look at tonight's stuff. Let's look at tonight's stuff, and we'll start with Celtics Knicks. We got game one. Let's see what the line looks like here on Dish Fun. 7 o'clock on TNT. No, I don't want tickets. I bet they're too expensive. All right, here we go. Faster, ESPN, faster. We've got the Celtics favored by 9.5. Holy crap, 212 total. 9.5 feels too. Listen, I have picked the Celtics in 5. I think this is going to be a relatively smooth sailing series for the Beantown Celtics. I still don't. I think the Knicks will keep this close. One thing I'm really interested to watch in this one is, Jalen Brunson. I think he scored 30 points in 4 of the playoff games. He had 40 points in one, and then he had one dud, right? But that Brunson's going to actually have to do stuff on defense in this series, and I think that's going to be the biggest change from what happened with Detroit. Brunson wasn't really put in action too much, and the Celtics, which aesthetically not always the best basketball to watch, what they like to do is circle the one thing that is the weakness on the defense, and then they just pound that for 52 minutes. So or 48, excuse me. Well, it could be an overtime game. What they are going to do is get Jalen Brunson in action, and they're going to attack him over and over and over again. I saw the Knicks Muse account. Also, here's a take for you. Here's a take as I'm about to reference the Knicks Muse account. I think it took me this long, but I finally realized that ESPN, what they do on television, like the Stephen A's and the Kendrick Perkins of the world, is just a Muse account IRL. You know what I mean? That's those Muse accounts who probably run by some 19-year-old that they, have the Stat Muse avatar, and they're like, somehow I get so confused by them too. Like the Lakers one basically tweeting out like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to tweet again after this loss. Like, what's happening? What's happening? Therapy, guys. Therapy. That should do it. Go to therapy. But anyways, the Knicks Muse account, I think it was. Let me pull up this tweet here. They tweeted out something. Here we go. Let me share screen as they're showing defense. They said OG Anunoby, when covering Jason Tatum, Tatum was 5 for 20 when guarded by OG per NBA stats. 5 for 20. Well, this is what I would tell you. Tatum against the Knicks in 4 games averaged 33, 7, and basically 7 in those 4 games against the Knicks. So if that is true, why didn't they have OG cover him a little bit more? Why didn't they have him cover him more? So again, I think how OG and Mikal Bridges sure up against Tatum and Brown will decide a lot. Celtics did get some good news that Drew Holiday, not on the injury report, should be good to go. That is very helpful in the Brunson stuff on the defensive end. We'll have to wait and see how healthy that is, but that just provides a little bit more depth. And that's another thing that's going to rear its ugly head this series is depth. The Celtics had a relatively easy first round, even though it was very physical against Orlando. They had Tatum rest a game. They had Drew Holiday rest a couple of games. The Knicks, on the other hand, basically played 6 dudes for 6 tough games with their main 5 starters playing all of the minutes, right? So we'll have to see how that, as the series gets longer, what that looks like. I really do think the Celtics are going to have a relatively easy time with the Knicks. And again, that could come back and bite me by saying that into a camera out loud, but it does kind of feel like Celtics in 5. I'll give the Knicks credit for getting 1, but it does, I think Josh Hart, for the Knicks to have a real shot, they need Josh Hart to shoot 40% from 3. They do. They need him to make open 3-pointers because Brunson and Cat, much like Paolo and Franz, obviously the other players for the Knicks are way better. But Brunson and Cat probably going to get theirs, and it's how does everybody else hold up? And Bridges showed some signs of life against Detroit, but this level of defense the Celtics play compared to what the Pistons play on a regular basis is just I don't think it's going to be the same. The Celtics have also had quite a few days off now. And again, I imagine Boston goes out there and gives them the business in game 1. I could see game 2 being a little bit closer as we get there. But as we get to game 2, and then I think the Celtics will make quick work in the Garden, both Gardens. So I'm going to take Celtics at 5. I think Tatum's too much. I think Tatum seems angry, and I like it. He seems mad. He seems like he's going to I don't know. I think he wants to go get those Eastern Conference and Finals MVPs back. He's been doing it on both ends. He's been clearly their best player, and I'm excited. I'm excited for it. The second game we have, let's look at OKC. Oh, let me catch up on the chat here. Drew is owed a lot of money. Yeah, I mean that's why I did this for a Celtics Daily vid, right? So Shams went on Pat McAfee's show and was like, "Hey guys, you're not going to believe this, but the Celtics are going to be pretty expensive. Sounds like some moves are going to happen." No kidding. I mean, we've known that all season long. Like no one's surprised that that's probably going to happen. What I'm looking forward to though, if the Celtics do run this back and repeat, the first move new ownership is going to make is to break up a title defending team, a two back-to-back NBA champion team, first back-to-back since the Golden State Warriors. And the first move new ownership is going to make is be like, hey, Drew Holiday, you got to go. Hey, Kristaps Porzingis, you got to go. Good luck. Good luck. I imagine if they win it, they like pay the tax in the first year back and then sell off some of those pieces. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Nico Harrison's like, I'll fuck some stuff up. You know, you never know. You never know. Warren Buffett retiring, good for Top Shot. Yeah, I think so, man. I think that's all they're missing. One Top Shot related thing. I put this in the Discord. I saw a photo or a video of a young Stephen Miller. That piece of poop. Looks like Jacob Eisenberg a little bit. Young Stephen Miller, a little bit like Jacob Eisenberg. So NBA Top Shot that, you know. Let's go over to the other game that tips off tonight. We've got Denver at OKC. OKC also favored by 9.5. Listen, I know everyone has been saying, well, let's see if OKC can do it against a real team. Memphis fired their coach not too long ago. Let's see if they can get against a real team. OKC should win by 25 tonight. Denver just had to play 7 tough games. Michael Porter Jr. has one arm. They're pretty tired. So I would imagine OKC comes out. I think we'll get a better idea of what this series is going to look like in game 2. To be honest, this feels like a game where they just kind of punt game 1. One thing that I thought would be kind of fun here. So ready? Oh no, it's not going to work out. I was thinking that was if Houston won game 7, but Russ beating the Clippers and then beating OKC could just be a sweet, sweet revenge tour for Russell Westbrook, but then Houston lost. So forget it. But yeah, Russ coming back. That's kind of fun. I think Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein are going to have a little bit of a more challenging time with Nikola Jokic than, say, Zach Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. But on the other hand, you know, Jamal Murray's going to be in straight hell, just straight hell with Lou Dort and Jay Williams, J-Dub, and Lou Dort. Dort Report shouted out. I won't play the video because I don't want you bitches to cry because it's too loud. But I think that's going to be a real tough time. And I think OKC is really a better team. I really, and I love, you guys know I love Denver. I got a Jokic owner. But I just think SGA is too good right now. I don't know if they're going to have an answer for SGA. Like, do they put Christian Brown? Does Christian Brown get the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander assignment? And then Aaron Gordon get the Jalen Williams assignment? And then obviously Jokic covers who's ever the big. And that means they probably put MPJ on Lou Dort, and they're just like, fine, dude, if you want to shoot threes, shoot threes. That would be my best guess of what they do. Stan in the chat says 150 on Denver to win 1K. All right. I mean, listen, we'll find out. We're going to find out how talented OKC really is. But listen, they were a buzzsaw all season long. Actually, of the teams that are left, I think a Minnesota OKC conference finals would be pretty fun just because Minnesota gives them a tough time. Also, shout out Jared. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man, on Slam and Jam. I had so much fun. Again, I said this at the top. I'm such a fan of their stuff. And, listen to them every Friday or Saturday morning, depending on when it comes out. Big fan. And they're OKC, bros, so I'm sure they're excited. But, yeah, it was a good time. Regular said Clippers were pretty physical against Murray, and he eventually figured it out. He did. But I do think the defense, I guess Chris Dunn and Kawhi is similar to, and Derek Jones Jr. is similar to what OKC can throw at him. But, yeah, and I'm not even saying Jamal Murray's going to have a bad game. I think Denver has to play perfect where OKC doesn't in this series. All right. Jared saying AG is going to defend Shai. Had some success. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe they put Jamal Murray on Dort, not Michael Porter Jr., because MPJ has to follow like one of Cheddar Hartenstein around, probably. Interesting. All right, Jared, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for the series, though. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think OKC boat races them tonight, and then Denver, I think, plays the rest of this series pretty close. Like, I think Denver is just tough. Also, you know what? I mean, we did the emergency pod when it happened. I cannot believe, first of all, OKC's first two opponents, both of their coaches were fired like right before the playoffs, which is kind of crazy. But shout out David Adelman, man. And I'm not gonna go out here and give ownership credit, but maybe they were right to fire Malone. I mean, it sounds like the players were even saying it too, like they needed, like we wouldn't be here without that massive shakeup. Jokic seems like a different guy, not on the court, but like verbally. He seems a little bit louder, a little bit more intense. I don't know. The vibes just feel better. One other thing on Denver too, Christian Brown, man. Like I know we all were like, oh, Denver doesn't want to spend any money. They didn't want to pay Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I was one of those guys, by the way. Christian Brown has been exponentially better than KCP this season. He's knocking down threes. He defends better than KCP. He's also kind of a dick. Like, I like how angry he is, or like, I mean, he's toe to toe, not scared of anybody. So I think that'll be fun. We'll definitely get some chippiness. Him and Caruso probably running around with each other throughout the series. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Nuggets best chance to steal a game is tonight, you think? Interesting. You think rest versus rust? Is that what you're saying, regulator? I just think they're tired from playing 7 games, but we'll see. We'll see how quickly. I mean, this is going to be a very different defensive challenge for OKC versus Denver than it was against Memphis. However, it's not like Denver plays really good defense, you know? I know they looked a little bit better against the Clippers there down the stretch, but I was so disappointed with the Clippers stuff. Whoa, you're going to be at the game? Let's go. That's awesome, man. Yeah, get some coffee, dude. Pace yourself with the coffee, too. We need an afternoon coffee, maybe a Red Bull, something like that. But anyways, that's tonight's action. Very excited about it. We've got some contests over on Splash Sports, by the way, for tonight. If you guys want to mess around with that, here, I'm going to share screen. I'll drop a link too if you want to sign up. You can use our referral code there. But look at these contests. So we're doing, I got a range of stuff here, So we've got a $1 single entry, top 3 paid. That's for our guy, Matic Auto, who called for it last night. We did a Monday Night Tiers. This is our normal $5 contest. We've got another $10 contest, which is double entry max, and then another single entry 25. So if you guys want to play, go hang out on Splash Sport. Let's refer a friend here. No. Let's copy the link, you dummy. But yeah, come hang out here over on Splash. We're having a good time. That wasn't making fun of you, Matic Auto. You're doing fine, buddy. You're doing fine. But yeah, we got Splash Sports over there. I imagine I think we're going to have a new episode of Hoop Sense tomorrow over on the Count the Dings channel, so stay tuned for that. We'll have the 89 Cavs probably Wednesday or Thursday, and then, yeah, NBA Bit Monday through Thursday this week. No show on Friday because I'm going to my boy Andy's wedding. And then I might have I think the Monday show will probably be later in the day next week, but we can deal with that when we get there just because I'm traveling. We're going to New Hampshire. And then I'm just, again, I know my dad's birthday is today, but we're able to celebrate my dad's birthday and Mother's Day on Sunday in Lakeville, Massachusetts. I think we're going to get some golf in. Very excited. Although we'll see how my back says about that. And then speaking of back, we got an Old Man Hoops update coming at you Wednesday. Get ready. The battle of the undefeateds. Anything else from the weekend of hoops or anything you guys need to get into before we go? Do the Warriors win without Butler, says Regulator? No, I mean, Jimmy Butler did carry them a little bit in the fourth quarter. I think they needed Jimmy. I think this Minnesota Golden State series is going to be, I kind of think Minnesota in 6. That is my pick. I'm taking Thunder in 6 and Wolves in 6. All right, Thunder in 6, Wolves in 6, Cavs in 7, Celtics in 5. That's what we're doing. But I think Minnesota is, again, like, congrats. You got past Amon Thompson and Tari Eason, Steven Adams. Now you get Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I'm a little bit nervous about Steph's thumb, too. I mean, I think most of that had to do with the defense that Houston was playing, but he missed a lot of open looks early in that game, too. So I'm curious if that weird thumb is going to be a problem, especially like a 7-game series, 1 day off, traveling from Houston to Minnesota, back at it tomorrow. Again, similarly to like these other teams coming back off of a long series, I kind of think Minnesota rolls in game 1 and then Golden State steals game 2, maybe. Yeah, we're going to see some Draymond text. I'm so over the Draymond thing. I know some Warriors fan, like Sam Esfandiari, shout out Sam and the Playback Boys, tweet out yesterday, like all anybody's going to talk about with Draymond is the tech after like that great defense. I just why do you have to do it, and if you're going to do it, just be self-aware enough, don't complain like, oh my god, what do you mean? It's like, dude, look at the replay, just look up at the jumbotron before you yell that, you know what I'm saying? Just look at the jumbotron. Of course you're getting called for that, man. Like, it was such an unnatural play. What are you talking about? It's so dumb. And it does overshadow how incredible he was on defense. He was awesome this whole series. Didn't really provide too much offensively except for last night where he scored 10 in the first. But like, come on, man. But yeah, him and Rudy are going to beat each other up. Regular said Ant-Man struggled in the last 2 games. Warriors are a tough matchup for the Wolves. Yeah, listen, I'll probably keep picking against Golden State and I'll be wrong, but give me Minnesota. Give me Minnesota. Anything else? I got to catch up on the Righteous Gemstones finale. That was last night. I didn't watch any actual TV. We did start watching, what was the Netflix show? 4 Seasons. That was fun. Jason Mantzoukas is on Taskmaster, so we checked that out. Oh, okay. This is their last dance, yeah, for the Warriors fans. Yeah. Light years. Shout out to Pod. It's Fondiari. You watch Civil War? Yeah, I watched that on a while back. Agreed. Also mid. I still need to see Sinners. Also, I think in New York, the Tim Robinson movie Friendship with Paul Rudd comes out today. I got to see that soon too. We got too much content for the playoffs, I got playoffs. We got to consume so much stuff to stay on top of the zeitgeist. You know what I mean? Who are the second and third best player in Wolves Nuggets series? Like for those teams, you mean for the Wolves and for the Nuggets? Or just from that specific team or from the entire series? Like, are you also asking? Like, I can't tell. We'll have a separate thing for that, DJP. We'll have a separate thing later this afternoon, or I'll put it in the Discord, but we should have a separate thing. Yeah, we are in June. In June, we're going. We finally pulled the trigger on those. We are going to go see some Glenn Ross, and I'm very excited. That series. Okay, so so like Jokic and SGA are the two. I think. Well, I think the Thunder needed to be Jalen Williams. The Thunder needed to be Jalen Williams, and if Denver's going to win the series, it's going to be Jamal Murray. But if you're including defense, I don't know. Aaron Gordon could be it for Minnesota. I think Naz Reid does some stuff. I think Naz Reid's going to be a little bit of a matchup problem I don't know if he's going to be the second best player, but I think it's going to be him. Oh, Steph and well, you said Nuggets. Wolves, so it confused me. Steph, Ant, and Jimmy, who's going to be the second best player? Steph. I think Anthony Edwards is going to be the best player in the series. I think he's healthy. He's rested. I think he's awesome. I'm all aboard. Shout out Borland. I've been Borland pilled. Go Wolves. Go Wolves, baby. We'll start sharing gifts in the Discord about it. All right, let's call it there. You scored a special. How did you get it for $19? $19? You play him tonight. There you go. Play him tonight. Let's call it there. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the NBA bit. We'll have, again, some Hoop Sense tomorrow, some 89 Cavs a little bit later. If it was your first time here, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Twitter, listen, let's not give Elon that cash. Come on over to Utah. Come over to YouTube. Hang out here, baby. Have a great start to the week. All right. We'll see you next time.